Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of the Money Market Review. Please, I'll need your assistance right now. Please, if you can hear me, kindly signify with a yes on the chat box. If you're can hear me right now, please, a yes would be really appreciated on the chat box, please. Okay, wonderful. I've gotten a couple of yeses. Wonderful. I guess we're all on the same page then. Okay, so welcome to this edition of Money Market Review. So we're looking at the market in general and what happened yesterday and trading opportunities for us in the market for today, and taking into cognizance of the high impact news available in the market for today in the afternoon and the evening period. So we're going to be looking at those particular news also. So yesterday, I believe we also some particular movements also on the market for stocks, mostly for stocks yesterday. It was a very, very peaceful one for indices, US 30, US 100, and 2000 yesterday in the markets. So in case you were wondering what really caused that particular move, and it was due to the job openings yesterday that came out by 3 p.m. So that caused some particular market jitters to investors and market and traders all over the road. So that caused some little bit of fear and panic when that particular figure came out, because that didn't really give the labor market of US a really good picture. So due to the job openings yesterday by 3 p.m., that came out negative for USD. It came out negative for USD. So that gave some little bit of panic in the markets, because the labor market is something that's really, really significant in the US. And if due to the current issues happening in the US right now, they have been trying to say they can battle inflation for a couple of months back to back. And that has been an ongoing battle till now. And yes, now the labor market is not really giving like positive figures right now, which is based on what you spend, what you earn, what you make. So if when you have a job here, that increases the spending power of the general public in the country. So that really gives investors some confidence yesterday, and that led to some significant decline on stocks yesterday. But for today, we're looking at the major news in the market for today is the ADP non-farm employment change that's happening in the market by 1:15 p.m. Okay, let me refresh my page. Let me get see if the time is still okay. Yes, correct. By 1:15 p.m. today, we'll be having the ADP non-farm employment change. So this particular ADP non-farm employment shows you the amount of jobs that Americans got in the last month, excluding the farming and then the government sector. So it shows you how many jobs Americans got in the previous months, excluding governments and workers and government sector entirely, and then the farming industry. So that number shows you like a really, really clear picture of what the labor market is like. And then you have that comes out like 2 days before NFP comes out. So some days before NFP comes, which is non-farm employment change, comes out, ADP comes out. So this gives you like a picture of what to expect for NFP. So today is going to be a very, very peaceful day. Just try and say you can give you all like a clear picture of what the market will look like today, fundamental wise, before look at the chart and then look at technical, and then how we can make use of the chart to our advantage today. Just try and say you can pick it, because you want to also be aware of what news are coming out. Because sometimes you're not really aware, you might get caught up in a bad trade. For example, you go into the market and you're not aware that a particular high impact news is coming out by a time, maybe 15 minutes on when you're placing your trade, you're entering into the markets and looking at your chart, technical analysis is being done, and you look at it and the entry setup, and it looks at more like a buy, you're going for a buy, and then the market starts selling, you're wondering what's going on. These are issues that happen. The news come out and alters the technical analysis you do on your chart, and then you're caught in a bad trade that is giving some massive drawdown, and then you're in a panic zone. So those transfers we can avoid that and have a clear picture of what's particular news will happen at what time. And then the ISM and services PMI also gets, we will not really give that much, because the news, the markets for the US will be open by 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. So that ISM services PMI might just get swallowed under the market opening liquidity by 2:30. So that even though it's an high impact news, I don't really see it having such individual move in the market for today. So we might just wait till later on for today by 7 p.m., which is the FOMC statements. So the Federal Open Market Committee is like the body of the Federal Reserve that shows that come up with policies based on what's happening in the economy right now, and policies that are best positioned to push the economy forward. So they're going to be looking at if the economy needs an interest rate hike or a flat, but there's been speculations though that are looking at increasing the US interest rates to like 25 basis points though. This month, 25 basis points. This has been the norm for like a couple of months now. I'm just trying to say you can keep it not so aggressive. 25 basis points from what it was sometime last year, 25 basis points. So they're going to be looking at, there has been some speculated rumors around that has been put around analysts that would be the figure coming out when they dish out their policies and their this thing, their mandates. But we're going to see what the figures will be like. But for now, it's just based on FOMC statements by 7 p.m. and that will cause some massive volatility. And if you're looking at increasing interest rates, that can cause some massive drawdown for stocks looking at US 30 and US 100 and 2000. So looking at the market right now, going to our charts and seeing how we can capitalize on the markets and see what's available for us this morning. And please, you also know that if you're looking at trading, you also want to factor in that looking at getting some particular trade entries that would keep you away from the market before the news, so that at least you can place fresh entries. I will probably manage the ones you already have opened properly. I'm trying to. Apologies about that. Just 4 minutes, please. And we are up. I hope you can see my chat right now. We are up. I hope you can see my chat right now. We are up right now. Please, if you can see my chats, yes, would be really, really appreciated. All right, fantastic. So I guess we're on. I think we are good to go. So we're commencing the market with currencies, trying to how we can make use of the moves available for us on the currency market today. So looking at Euro USD this morning, Euro USD, and that's we see the that little bit of bullish push up that happened in the markets yesterday due to the news happening, and also a little bit of markets and drawdown yesterday towards the end of the day. So you could see that particular Saturday trading that later led to a bullish run for today. So I guess Euro USD trends you can capitalize on the movement. So we're going to be looking at dollar index now to get a clear picture of what dollar is doing right now. Because if you're looking at understanding dollar as an instrument and how strong it is, you want to also look at dollar index. That gives you, like it's called, it gives you a comparison of dollar against 8 other currencies in the market. So that is called a green basket. So it compares how strong dollar is doing relatively to other 8 currencies, major currencies in the market. So that gives you a clear picture of how strong dollar is. So if you want to understand some pairs and some dollar pairs, transfer, you can take dollar index to get a clear picture of what dollar is at the moment. So right now, you can see the dollar is having some little bit of bearish move right now, down to a support zone. But that support zone was a support zone that held the markets yesterday. So if you look at this, even though it's opened with a little bit of slight gap yesterday, you can see that when it traded and bearish move down to this support zone we have here on around 101.3, 101 points. That's about 101.400. So around that particular support zone, it got there, it pushed back up also yesterday due to the particular move that happened yesterday, and then had this little bit of massive sell-off in the markets down to that support zone that continued also on this morning period. So you see that dollar can also continue, although that particular zone can be like a stronghold for price. It might have like a little bit of trading activities below this support zone. Let me try and mark it right there for you. Try and say, and in case you're looking at getting a picture of the dollar later on in the day. So I see dollar maybe trading have a little bit of activity to some little bit of extent here, not getting to the verified support entirely. So it might also replicate what it did, and that was as far back as that'll be last week Friday. So it might replicate the activity it did as far back as last week Friday. So I don't really see it having such massive activity below here until the high impact news comes out later in the afternoon. Until the high impact news comes out later in the afternoon. But I don't really see dollar. That news might alter the market movements later on today. So just trying to see how we can get a clear picture before this particular news, and then you can now place proper trades ahead and position towards this particular high impact news. So I don't really see much activity far below this particular points onto this verified support of the dollar index. So for Euro USD, it's this particular zone has to hold, it's a verified resistance. So this particular zone has to hold it, comparing to this can be like a triple top right now to the market, triple top. That can be like a bearish indication to enter for a sell. So this verified resistance is also a strong hold for markets for Euro USD this morning. So I would not really be looking at expecting much further buy unless, because even looking at my RSI, that have gotten to the overbought zone at the 70 benchmark. So that particular point is an overbought region, showing that market has been buying for a while, and then due to I call it gravity, something that's been going for a while, it tends to come down. So due to that particular consistent and upward move it has been having, it's led to probably drop a little bit and drop some ball. So I don't really see it breaking significantly above this overbought region on my RSI, and then I boost on my support and resistance indicator and then verified resistance. So I'll be looking more of like expecting more of a sell for Euro USD this morning. So we're expecting more of a sell this morning, expecting more of a sell for Euro USD this morning. So I'll be looking more of, because this particular zone is like dynamic supports. I have my moving averages here. This my 13 exponential and then my 22 exponential moving average. They move. So because they move, they are dynamic support and resistance. Because if the moving average is below the candlestick, it's like a support to price. And if it's above the candlestick, like a resistance to price. So it's like a dynamic support right now that is holding price now, but I don't really see it going below the. But if it goes and break above this particular point, I'll be more inclined to enter a sell below this weak resistance here. So I'll be more inclined to enter a sell around this region. So if you look at markets, if you try and see market breaking below this particular point, you want to looking at for sell entries based on what dollar will probably do, based on what we see on dollar index when we're checking it also on the charts. So if you're looking at if price can break below this particular point on the charts on weak resistance, I'll be more inclined to look for a sell entries around this region. So this particular point is a comfortable region for you to look for a sell. So to replicate what market did yesterday, I don't really know. So if market can probably come down from this particular point and break this, my moving averages here, I'll be looking at for sell entries below this weak resistance here on our charts on the H1. And if you're looking at scalping this some particular trade this morning, looking at getting some particular quick entries, and we're not waiting to markets to probably push down from that particular zone. And you can see it's even holding and over around that point. A quick sell entry can be looked at each at 15 minutes time frame. If market is looking at breaking below this particular point, like I'm looking at a quick sell entry on the 15 minutes time frame. That will give you like some quick and few pips with some significant lot size. You can make something relevant also on that particular trade. If you're looking at getting some little bit of fast, I don't want to wait to that particular marked up region on my chart. But that particular zone is also a good region to just transfer. You can wait on and then get some good entries also. Okay, just trying to look at comments, and if you have any particular instruments you're looking at being analyzed, you can just drop in the comment section and we'll look at it together. So if you have any particular instruments you're looking at and to be analyzed, you can just drop it on the comment section. So someone is also saying Euro JPY. Okay, don't worry, we'll look at that also. I'll put that also. Let's try and look at GPUSD for now. GPUSD for now. Also, replicating that particular breach figure that might be happening on the chart right now is GPUSD is also breaking above that contested resistance there on the H1 time frame. So it's breaking particular points. So I believe this particular zone is based on the current momentum on the euro market right now. Okay, based on the current momentum on the euro market right now. So this euro is trying to say it can get that momentum to break a particular resistance on the charts. So looking at liquidity on the London market section, it might appear that we might have some little bit of activity above this overbought region. We might have some little bit of activity, but not really advisable to just I can jump in at the moment, because sometimes it might not really be advisable to just try and watch it and if it's a fake out or not. So my updates to the liquidity on the markets and for London Stock Exchange, you can have like some little bit of activity above verified resistance on the H1 time from Euro USD and also on GPUSD, but not really expecting it to last significantly, but can just be like just a brief activity above that region and then push down like I envisaged earlier. That's for GP and Euro USD and also GPUSD. I'll be looking at sell opportunity also. Let's get this multiple of the chart. You look at H4 if you look at the 4-hour time frame, let's get a little bit of zoomed out. On the 4-hour time frame, so you can see that so far there's this current candle as it's been like a really bullish one due to the this increased liquidity in the past couple of minutes since 8 o'clock since the market commenced. So it's been a significant body size candle, but we might still expect a bearish activity below this my dynamic support here. This is my 50 EMA. So you can still expect a bearish activity below this particular zone here. So it's not to be too hasty and say that okay, it's currently buying. I'm looking at just entering a buy. Sometimes once just try and say I can just look at the markets holistically and see what it is, a clear picture of what it is right there on your chart. So in this particular sizable candle might due to be the increased liquidity in the first couple of minutes, but we can still look at sell entries. Let me try and mark that particular region. So I'll be marking 2 regions for just a brief, going to be a brief one and for GPUSD this and for today. So I'm marking 2 regions. So it's a selling activity around this region on the 4-hour time frame. We're going to compare also on the H1 also. Try and see how we can get more laser focus. Okay. Okay, selling activity around that particular region also can also be looked at. That will give us some sizable pips. It's not so small. That gives us a sizable entry for sizable room for us to get some like 2 or 3 entries, or even like and get a good entry and then try and say I can apply break even. So sometimes if you're in profits and try and say I can leave a trade running, I don't want to be too hasty. Can just try and say I can apply break even and try and look at a particular profit and then leave it to run and then continue following the trend. And sometimes clients will say that I didn't want it to be, I didn't want it to retrace. I was in profit of 30K, 20K, I don't want it to retrace. So I just clear and close it. Sometimes if you're in profit, try just to apply a break even. A break even is stop loss, please above your entry. So proventure, you enter the market at price, Euro USD at price 500, and the market is going to a price 1,000 naira. You can apply a stop loss at price 900 naira. So that's a break even. A stop loss above your entry. So that's what that does is that it locks your capital and some portion of your interest, also your profitability, so that at least if it goes down in favor, it doesn't entirely consume all your profit and then eat into your capital in your account. So that's what it does for you. Just transfer, you can apply that sometimes in your trading. So even though it goes below this particular point, just transfer, you can apply break even and then flow the move in case it goes and does some activity on some significant region below this particular marked area on charts. That's for GPUSD this morning. I'm going to USD JPY for today. Okay, I think someone, okay, let's try and see we can look at. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat. I'm going to our instruments being looked at on the comment section. So someone said gold. Okay, let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. I'm looking at gold now. Someone's asking me, how do okay, we'll look at okay, I don't really know about CHF JPY, but and let's look, let's keep looking. And how do we recognize the overbought or oversold regions? Okay, and you can use it, you make use of an indicator, and the RSI indicator. The RSI indicator that gives you like the stronghold of overbought and oversold regions in the markets based on demand and supply. So if there's been some significant demand for some period of time and it has been opening for constantly for maybe like a couple of hours or days or weeks, it goes to an overbought region based on the chart you're analyzing, based on the time frame. Do you understand? Based on the time frame. So it gets to an overbought region and also if you sell it for a while, also gets to an oversold region. So you can use the RSI indicator. I don't okay, I have this here my chart right now. So you can see my cursor right now. If you can see my cursor, so you can see this 70 benchmark is marked as the overbought region. So if market trade above this particular points over the 70 benchmark is seen as an overbought region. That means that's like a sell indication in the market that expect a sell to happen anytime soon. Although sometimes in the market, due to like increased or extensive liquidity on a particular position due to some particular rumors or sentiment or different things might happen, we might see some significant activity above and below these particular regions. It happens sometimes in the markets. It's not as if it doesn't happen. So you can experience some sizable activity above these particular regions due to some increased liquidity at some peculiar occasions in the markets. But still, that is a bearish indication that you can expect a sell to happen anytime soon when it's above that overbought, oversold. So if it's overbought, expect a sell. If it's oversold, expect a buy to happen anytime soon. So looking at gold in the market for H1, and someone asked me to look at H1 as an instrument. So if you look at gold is like I thought that gold is more like a bearer of bad news. It strives more of bad news. So if things are not really doing so well in the market, that's when gold tends to what happens? It tends to capitalize on that. It tends to thrive on that. Although the reason why we didn't really see that significant gold rally, that would have been a significant rally last year, was based on significant aggressive push by the Federal Reserve to try and see how they can calm the pressure of inflation in the US. Because if inflation is going on, so people tend to push their assets into gold as a safe haven to retain their assets. So that didn't allow us to see that extensive rally that would have happened in the market. But gold it thrives on bad news and things not going well according to, because it's not as if it's based on any particular economy or market. It's based on what's happening in the market and people shifting risk from a particular instrument or currency or stock to gold as a commodity, as a precious metal. So right now, you can see that a little bit of activity is ranging around this particular resistance here in the markets. It doesn't really mean that we should just expect a sell. Although if you look at currently in the market, this on this resistance zone, we might experience a bearish engulfing candle that might happen on this particular zone. So if significant activity happens below this particular zone, our market closes below this, and as this particular candle closes and follows this entire bullish candle that came before it, that's a bearish indication. That's a bearish engulfing candle pattern. That's a bearish indication in the market that expect a sell to happen anytime soon. So if you're looking at going for gold this morning, I'll be expecting more of a technically in the market. Technically, I'll be expecting more of a sell to happen. Although it's currently trying to say you can return from an overbought region, the 70 bet, but trying to say you can return from an overbought region. And if you look at my index showing that there's which momentum, although the indicator point that there's currently a lack of both bearish and bullish momentum in the market for the gold at the moment. So the ADX indicator measures how strong of a momentum is, either is bullish or bearish. So we have the ADX, and then we have the plus DI and minus DI. So the red one is minus DI and the green is plus DI. So the plus DI measures the strength of the bullish momentum, and the minus DI measures the strength of the bearish momentum. So if that's ADX indicator, if the plus DI, which is the green line, is above the 20 benchmark, and also this particular ADX is above that particular 20 benchmark also, that shows that there's much more bullish momentum in the market than bearish momentum. And if it's also otherwise, if the minus DI, which is the red line, is above that particular 20 benchmark also, and also we have the ADX also above that 20 benchmark on the chart here, that shows that there's much bearish momentum in the market than bullish momentum in the markets. So right now you see that there's currently a lack of both, showing that the market is just anticipating some particular movement to happen. And we look at I envisage a slow market this thing in anticipation of this particular news happening for today. The first one being ADP by 1:15 p.m. and then the second one being FOMC by 7 p.m. I don't really see the ISM really moving that much by 3 p.m. It might get followed up by the liquidity that will happen by 2:30 p.m. when market opens for the US market section. So, but we're expecting more of a sell for the gold this morning. So I'll be looking at going in for a sell for gold, unless I see otherwise and I see a clear pattern for a bullish one. But for now, I'm looking at more of a bear for now. So I'm looking at more of going in for a sell, but I will not be too hasty. So I'm looking at going for a sell below when market can break below historical support. So I'm looking at getting sell entry sufficiently around this region here. So you can even extend it down to this particular point here. So I'm looking at getting a sufficient sell entry around the particular when market breaks below stone cold support. That has been confirmed. So because it has broken two dynamic supports in that regard. It has broken the 10 let me check this simple exponential. Okay, exponential. So it has broken the 10 EMA and then also the 21 EMA. So it has broken both dynamic supports. So it has broken also a support region. So I'm looking more of a sell entry around this particular board. So a sell activity around this zone can be well and looked out for. And but it's not to say it can't scalp. So let's look at some scalp opportunity for people looking at getting some brief entry, not waiting to this particular region and get some sizable pips. So for people that want to just get some short pips and put some good lots and make something for themselves this morning. So looking at going for a quick one, you can see currently market is currently above this 50 EMA on the 50 minutes time frame. So you cannot get some few markets and some sell entries when market breaks below this particular point here to this week support here. So we're looking at more of a window of how many pips in the markets for scalper this morning. About 29 pips in the market. So you can get some scalping, brief entry and exit when market starts going below this particular 50 EMA I have on my chart here. So you can plot your 50 EMA on your 15 minutes time frame and just get that particular zone also. That's for gold this morning. Going back to the H1. So who else is saying? So someone is saying oil. Please, someone is saying no volume. Please, if you know you can hear me, please say yes. I'm talking to myself. All right, fantastic. And Mr. Emmanuel Wadu, please, it might be in your connection. Just try and say you can log out and log in again and click on join with computer audio. Join with computer audio. That can solve the issue. Thank you very much. Okay, from popular listing demand, I'm saying oil repeatedly asked here. So we look at oil. Okay, so we're looking at oil and we're looking at D30 also. So look at oil and look at D30. D30 also should be looked at because of the market. Let's look at D30 first of all before look at oil. Because this is the market section. So looking at D30. Just okay, so looking at D30 this morning, you can see that there's been much more increased liquidity in the markets due to the London and London market section. So you can see that this particular candle, you can see that there's been a sizable amount of week on this particular candle, both bullish and bearish, more of bearish though. So there's been a sizable increased amount of liquidity in the market for D30 this morning. So top 30 companies in Germany reflects is the most traded index in the European market section, and then it gives like some picture of what the market is doing currently in the European market section. So we can say that currently it got to this particular support and resistance zone, dynamic resistance zone, but it's currently hovering around a particular point. So although you see that the last three candles also show that there's been some sizable amount of resistance here also. So we don't have to wait to a point where we even we have a resistance line exposure for. Sometimes you cannot understand that this particular zone is like a resistance zone in the market for D30 this morning. So those trends you can treat cautiously and take into cognizance sometimes in the market, even though those particular news might be more on US markets, D30 sometimes tends to replicate some US indices when they move, because some companies have some inter-business relation within also in either London or the UK, and then also in the US. So sometimes when these particular indices move, which are stocks and companies, they tend to also rub off on D30, and then that particular index also moves in the markets. So if you're looking at gains for D30 this morning, I'm looking at more of a buy though, but above this particular region here. So I'm looking at more of a buy because the market sold sizably from that particular replication of move that happened on US indices late hours of yesterday. So it earns this particular support zone, which is a proven support zone that has gotten to on like multiple occasions in the past couple of days, on like 3 or 4 occasions on a particular zone. So that's like a strong point, also a proven support to price. So I believe price will do some activity around this particular zone. So if you're looking at jumping into D30 and trying to I can jump in right, try and I can wait out for market to break above this particular point, and then let's get some activity from this zone here down to this particular point here. So you're looking at having some bullish activity above this particular point here. So for my market breaks above 15937.5, looking at going into the market for a buy. The market can go above that 15937.5. You're looking at going to the market for a buy on D30 this morning and making some movements on it. And they looked at gold, they looked at D30. Okay, let's look at oil. Oil was also being asked and requested to be analyzed. And just to point, that thing being looked at right now, which is like a background and indicator, and also like a leeway to what market is doing right now. It is the issue currently going on right now in the US Congress, and as regards the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling being and it's what's it's like with now. It's the mandate or the approval or the approval amounts given for the federal government to borrow and probably borrow funds and borrow money to probably pay their bills. So and sometimes that was, I think, on Monday, the the Treasury Secretary, that was Yellen, was saying that probably by June that the US might not have enough funds again to pay their bills. That was coming from the Treasury Secretary. Then Yellen, I've forgotten Yellen, that the US might not have enough funds to pay their bills by June because of the consistent months they've been having issues currently in the country. So that's caused some little bit of current panic right now in the markets. Just having that as a background knowledge for you to understand what's currently happening in the markets, an entire scope of it. So looking at oil this morning. Okay, so oil is currently around the verified support, and you can see it has been hovering around that particular point, although it is the H1. Let's try. has been over under particular verified support for a while and hasn't gotten to this point. So the points where a market was really having that bullish rally on oil for months due to the current push up and deliberate tweak by the OPEC to try and say they can just plump and price to probably push up and cash out. But right now, we're seeing like a significant decline that has been consistent since middle of April. Let's even go back some time more and go to the H4. So you can see like it has been a constant decline since that commenced in sometime in months of April that was started seeing that consistent bearish trend in the markets. So you can see a series of lower lows happening on oil. So that has been due to the fact that okay, everything is happening right now, and different countries are trying to say they can push up their particular inventory, try and say they can capitalize on the price of oil, but still, it's been like a back and forth in OPEC because one time they're looking at okay, let's try and say they can deliberately cut down the cost of and sorry the quota for production, so at least it can make some little bit of scarcity happen. And when scarcity happens, then that's the price of the particular commodity can go up a bit. But that didn't really last because that initiative it does work for a while, but it didn't really last the market because as you can see, we're having some consistent bearish move in the market for oil. So I also believe that this particular move might continue on the H4. I believe bearish move can continue even down to this untested supports. But the probability of it happening today it's not really guaranteed, but I still believe you're looking at going for a sizable long trade. If you can see that there was like a on the H4 time frame, there's these are dojis right now. This is more like a gravestone to show that there was like a indecision in the market on bullish and bearish momentum in the market right there. That particular window shows that there was like a conflict, like a conflict of bulls and bears, how like an equilibrium of bulls and bears, showing that there was an indecision on whether that particular move was a bullish or a bearish move in the market. So that particular zone was like an indecision zone in the market, and right now, I've seen it being confirmed by this current bullish candle on the H4 time frame. So I'm expecting more of a sell activity to happen for oil today because I believe that the oil market is currently in just some little bit of uncertain phase right now. It might be temporary though, but I believe that's what's currently happening right now for oil. So I'm looking at, if you're looking at going for oil, I'm going for oil around this particular zone, but you don't want to get it too close to the untested stop on the H4 time frame. So going back to the H4 time frame to go and confirm that particular moves. So you're looking at going to oil, you can go in for oil for a sell from this particular sell up right now and sell down to this particular support zone. I have here. Let me zoom out a bit. Particular zone I have here. And sell down this particular zone I have here. So you're looking at entering for oil, this particular marked up zone from price level, from price level 74.66. So you want to just reach a bit. So 74.46 around that region down to this region around 73.12. So that's a good sizable entry for a bearish activity to be made for oil today. So let's look at some stocks. Let's look at indices. Let's start with the Nasdaq. Let's look at US 100 first. Look at US 100. Also was that okay. Someone asked me, I think I did analyze USD I did analyze USD. Okay, Mr. DM will look at 2000. After 100, look at 2000. Then look at 30. Mr. No, I looked at USD didn't I? And please, how can I fix support and resistance on my phone? And Mr. Amma, you can have that as an indicator also on your, but you can't have default one on your phone. You can have those particular defaults on your phone, but you can't have the premium indicator as a support and resistance indicator installed on your phone. So because you can't have external indicators installed on the MT4 mobile version, but the one on the phone can also be used. And then you have some particular lines that can also be used to identify those particular zones. So when time you see some markets, so probably you have to manually placement of these particular lines on your chart to get these particular zones as support and resistance for the phone. Mr. Pascal, we already looked at gold. We already looked at gold. D30 was also looked at. Okay, so looking at stocks now, looking at only down 2000. So I was saying earlier that I was asking earlier that hope also the massive sell that happened on US 100, yes, the US 2000, and stocks generally due to the job openings that came out by 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon, that didn't really give encouraging figures on data to investors, that caused some significant decline in the markets for stocks yesterday. So you can see also sometimes that you can rally up to just get some little bit of activity. And I'm looking at the Bollinger Bands and looking at the idea and policy of mean reversion. You can see that currently market currently trading around this particular mean, which is the medium, which also can be, this is the 20, this should be the 20 period moving average, and also the which is also aligning with the middle Bollinger Band, which is like a moving average also on its own. So you can see that price currently around that particular point here also. So based on the policy of variation that okay, if price has gotten to the average, it should retreat down to the particular zone also. So can I also expect is sell a my expert say is a little bit of sell activity to happen for US 100 based on the mean reversion, and trying to say you can get some activity between that drop that will happen from this medium here, say down to this lower Bollinger Band. So we can expect a sell activity to happen. So looking at US 100 this morning, so a sell can start happen in the market down to this particular zone. Although this lower Bollinger Band, you should know that they are not static. They move due to also price movements. They also move due to price movements, but also they are used to just trying to you can gauge some activity to measure, like within this particular window, price activity should happen within this particular window in the markets around this particular time. It's just used to gauge that particular price activity that happens around that region. So, but expecting a sell activity between this main and lower Bollinger Band also is not out of place for US 100 this morning and for today, ahead of the news by 1:15 p.m. this afternoon. And looking at US 2000, so looking at US 2000, so also currently we're also seeing a little bit of replication of what I said also on US 100, a little bit of indication that you might expect a sell to happen from around that zone also. That's a dynamic support and dynamic resistance to price rather. So and that is 21 and 30 in EMA. So currently we should also be looking at a sell activity below, because you can see that there's a series of, if we put our ADX indicator right now, I would expect a for us to be told that there's currently to an extent a lack of momentum in the market for both bullish and bearish movers in the markets. So currently you can see that there's been a series of very low body candle, which will probably increase in size as day goes by. So this is the currently this is the London market section. So the US market section commences in the afternoon by 2:30 p.m. So could I ask, have you seen that there's been like some absence of liquidity? Yeah, someone's asking me what liquidity. Liquidity is just the influx of funds. Liquidity is just funds, it's cash, the money. That liquidity, funds, cash, money, that liquidity. So the influx of funds into the markets is what we call liquidity, and that liquidity is what gives birth some increased momentum, increased movement also in the markets. Do you understand? Because anytime you see a for example now, the reason why this particular candle I have in my chart, this candle I have here, yesterday candle I have here in my charts is very long like that, is because there was a sizable liquidity in the markets at that particular point in time. People were placing orders. There were several orders being placed. There were several money being put into the market at that particular time that caused that long candle to happen. So anytime you see a long candle, so it shows that there was like a very, very active period in the markets. And anytime you see a small candle, it shows that there was not really much activity in the market at that particular point in time. For that hour, there was not much activity in the markets. Based on the time frame, is 15 minutes time frame. For that 15 minutes time frame, for that 15 minute period, there was not much activity in the markets. So that what it shows you. So it does shows you how much liquidity there was based on influx of funds in the markets at that point in time. So you can see that there's lack of liquidity right now because is not really the market section for US currently. So, but currently, due to around that 11, 12, 1, we should start experiencing much more fuller body candles and start experiencing much more bearish movements on US 2000 today. So I'm looking at a bearish activity I'm looking at the bearish activity from this particular zone. If the market can go below, let's look this particular point as a benchmark, and this particular zone down to this untested support. I'm looking at more of a sell activity in the market and trying to say I can at least apply do some markup and be moving the apply if you can use a trailing stop also, or if you can try and say you can make use of a break even if you have to probably monitor your trade manually, and then you can have time to do that also. But it takes some little bit of effort and manual and monitoring to try and say you can achieve that. So just monitoring trend and then following down as price pushes down, which I believe that it might not really be a fast decline further down. So it might be something that might take a while. If you're looking at going for a sell to get to this particular support zone, I have on my H1 time frame. And so looking at US 30, then the third stock for indices for today. Before we look at, okay, let me look at anybody asking for any instruments. Hello, sir. And that's Mr. Babatunde. Okay, so just explain something now. So you see this particular time that we're experiencing some sizable bearish activity in the market for dollar. Also a little bit of a bad one for stocks also, like we just analyzed on both 100 and 2000. So sometimes in the market, some particular indication might cause some little bit of panic generally across the board, which happened yesterday. Now, there's been like a consistent rumor and fear and panic of looming recession and the battling inflation that's been ongoing for months since last year in the US. So that particular negative figure that came out yesterday for the Georgia openings caused some little bit of panic that we saw have a negative impact on both currency and stock, because of if everything is not going on well, and then the labor market also being looking at being contracting also. Because the idea from an economic standpoint is when you earn a particular income and wage, that's when you now have some spending power, and then that's when the economy of the particular country can go forward and drive and increase. So that caused some negative impact on the market across both on both US currency and then also on stocks. So that's why we saw such effect also on happen also on US and sorry on dollar index and also on stocks. You still asking another question? So let's look at just one more indices and then one more currency. So factoring is also the same ideology I was having based on a bearish movements happen for stock this morning. So yesterday also around that particular main and medium region on the Bollinger Band. So I'm looking at activity from that push from that average standpoint to if that decline down to the lower Bollinger Band. So you can look at for a sell activity around this region. Those transfer you can make use of, although I'll call the price of that particular market region though for everyone. So some activity around this particular region also. So from if market goes below this 33778, so you can look for some activity and try and say you can monitor the trade cautiously based on this particular support zone that is not really strong right now at the moment at 33743. And then if it breaks below the particular point, then you can expect a further sell and then try and say you can ride the wave downward also. For US 30 this morning, also. So looked at looked at GPSG. Someone said didn't see, I didn't, okay. They might appear to be right. Okay, let's look at USGPY. I don't think we looked at it. Did we? So USGPY this morning. Also currently due to dollar having significant sell in the market right now. So that's what's giving some particular sell movement to USGPY, and currently we've not. No, the Japanese yen should be having some significant this thing because they've been some positive and based on positive data and also projection from the Chinese economy that they had like an increase in the also in in their first quarter. They had an increase in their first quarter, and then on other Asian economy, I think it's South Korea or something also recorded like a positive, a very good first quarter also, and I think that's their best quarter for some time also. So it's been a good one, but yen also been the dominant currency for the Asian markets. You should expect a little bit of significant rally and also for strength against dollar right now that is having some particular strength, but currently we're not seeing a little bit of slow decline right now in the markets, even though that is even weak. So we are seeing a slow decline, but this decline might continue also due to the current weakness of dollar. But those trends are you can expect a short and brief continuation for this particular selling until we see otherwise. Just expect it because this particular pattern right now is like a three black holes, which is like a bearish indication right now in the markets. On this one time frame, I have this from this Greystone Doji I have here on my chart, which is like indication in the markets. It also between bears and bulls. So we have here these three consecutive bearish candles, which is like a three black rose candle trade pattern in the markets. And when you see this particular pattern in the markets, it's like a bearish indication for you to enter and expect a sell to happen in the markets. So that's try and how we can trade according to those particular technical standpoints and get some activity between that window and then the technical supports. So you can look at some activity between particular region here. So you can expect a sell. Just try and say you can get multiple sell entries around these particular points marked on my charts for USD JPY or to this technical support. All right, so that's it for that's it for USD GPY for those who asked also. I've looked at D30. Sorry about that, Mr. Rand. I looked at D30 already. Okay, so someone's asking me a markets section. So for the European market sections, it opens in the morning by although sometime late last year we had what we call daylight savings that made the time zones generally around the world edit itself. So the time didn't and the time shifted a bit. So the market came down to 9 o'clock sometime late last year, but it has gone back as far as back as I think February this year. So it's back to 8 o'clock. So market for the London European market opens by 8 o'clock in the morning. And that is instrument like D30, GBP and Europeans 8 o'clock in the morning. And then looking at the US market section, it opens to 30 in the afternoon. So you're looking at time when London market closes later out of in the afternoon, and then when the US market is now going to a peak period and opening by 2:30 in the afternoon. So that peak period for the US market between 2:30 and 4 p.m. in the afternoon for US market, and the Asian market is mostly in the midnight. So looking at around the hours of 11 for the Asian market to try and I can get some movements on some and some pairs. All right then, and that will be all for today. So Miss Mary Jane, okay, yeah, someone's and okay, I didn't give you an entry for it. I just gave a zone for you to trade around. I was saying that if the price breaks below that 33781 around that region, then you can expect a sell also and try and take into cognizance this particular very faint big support zone, which should not even be looked at. But just try and say you can look at that as a also is a safeguard um, zone, and also try and expect further sub below the particular point up to this region around 33632. So I didn't give a specific entry, but it's trying to I can give multiple entries, sell entries around this mark region on my chart on the H1 time frame. That's for Ms. Jane. Okay, Ms. Miriam, I'm sorry, in case it seems jointly, just try and say I can join next time to get this particular analysis on that we do on daily basis, Monday to Friday by 8 a.m. So it seems jointly, just try and say I can join on time next time. Sorry about that. Several trades you're mentioning. Okay, so I'm asking for the link for the 6 p.m. class. Okay, let me drop it right there on the comment box. The link for the 6 p.m. class. Hold on, please, 1 minute. So we have this thing. We have evening classes by 6 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, where we train our clients and clients who are looking to learn more about the markets in general and how to address the market from a fundamental and then a technical standpoint. So we look at everything in general, and then it's an interactive one. So you can also ask questions on these particular classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on weekly basis by 6 p.m. in the evening. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday by 6 p.m. in the evening. Okay, so I'll drop the link on the chat box. The transfer I can copy the link for the evening class. Today is also Wednesday, so the technical class happens today by 6 p.m. Just transfer I can join today. So that'll be all. And those are the analysis for today's transfer. We can make sure this particular moves and then take into concerns this particular high impact news happening in the market this afternoon and then the evening by 7 p.m. So we have the ADP and implement change by 1:15 p.m. in the afternoon, and then we have the FOMC release, and that's by 7 p.m. in the evening. Let's treat and let's have a wonderful and peaceful Wednesday. Have a lovely day, everyone.